Shalom Akim. Shalom, Shalom. This is your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Come with another lesson to the Spirit. Lord willing, this be edifying to the Lord's elect. Alright, before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahabushai, Bahashem, Rukak, Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Shalom to the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, that's laboring in the word, and that's pushing the gospel of the great kingdom that's soon to come. Shalom to the Akwath that's listening in, that's remaining true to the faith and remaining faithful and submissive to their husbands and guiding their children. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. You Israelite foreigners out there who live among the heathen and who look like those heathen nations, but your lineage goes back to the progenitors of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel through the line of your fathers. I want to say peace and blessings to you all, Barakatham. All right. So, I literally just woke up about a couple minutes ago, and I had a dream. I was in what seemed like a place of employment. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like a warehouse type of theme. And, I think that's the case because I saw a coworker of mine, you know what I'm saying, in this dream, you know? So he was present, and, I forget what we were doing. I think we was getting close to closing up for the day or something like that. And I said something to him, right? I said something to him along the lines of, life is about to get real hard. You know what I'm saying? Life is going to get very hard. You know what I'm saying? And even harder for a woman to fend for. All right? And for those of you who've been watching long enough, you understand the times that we're entering into, man. All right? Known as Jacob's trouble. All right? Get this real quick in Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. It reads, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." All right. And, like I said, I told my coworker, I was like, life is about to get bad, but it's going to be even harder. It's going to be even harder for those who have like a woman to defend. All right. And I remember him scaling his hand in, relation to his height, right? Like how you put your hand to level with your own body and stuff like that. Well, that's what he was doing. He was scaling his hands. All right. And he pretty much gauged the height based on his level of concern or worry, you know what I'm saying, in such a scenario. So he raised his hand to his chest level in regards to a woman. All right. If he has to take care, he has to take care of a woman, his level of concern would be chest high. Right. And to his neck, he raised his hand up to his neck in relation to his children, And then he turned over to me. He faced me and he started pointing to his beard, right? And he started to say, don't live your life on hope, right? He said, don't live your life on hope because it'll trick you and it'll give you gray hairs, because he has a full beard of gray hairs. And, I immediately thought of the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Funny, right? Because here I am, I'm in the middle of a dream, and I'm still thinking about the scriptures, man. All right. I found that funny, but this is why All right. Which is why we, beginning with our apostles, bishops, and elders on down, and the men of the men of GMS, from the leadership on down to the men of the likewise doctrine, we always tell you, all right, we always tell you, get this truth within you. You see what I'm saying? You have to get this truth within. All right. It's very important that you remember these things. Remember the promises. Remember the words of the prophets. You know what I'm saying? When you go through the major prophets and the minor prophets, you know what I'm saying? When you think about the Chronicles, all right? When you think about the history, right? When you go through the books of First and Second Maccabees, when you read the account of the three holy children, all right? I believe it was Azariah, Ananias, and Sapphira. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about these things, man. Right? Let me see. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about this precept. Bear with me, Akim, bear with me. That's not the precept I'm looking for. Anyway, let me grab this here. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. It reads, "Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee." All right? So you have to get this truth inside, you know what I'm saying, within. All right? You have to go back to these accounts so that you can be built up in the scriptures, man, or built up in the spirit through the scriptures. Right? Even Yahweh Shai said, search the scriptures, man, for in them you may find eternal life. Right? So when he told me, all right, when he told me to not hold on to hope because it'll trick you and it'll give you gray hairs, that's I was thinking about the scriptures, and it's very important. Like I said, it's very important, man, because very soon they're gonna make sure that you can't read this book. You know what I'm saying? It's coming a time where the Bible's gonna be outlawed, man, and you won't be able to freely read these scriptures in the comfort of your own home. All right, you won't be able to read the scriptures while you're in the park, just sitting, minding your business. It's not gonna be like that anymore. All right. So it's gonna have to be sealed. It's gonna have to be sealed within your heart. You know what I'm saying? Which is your mind. All right. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying, the scripture that I was thinking about was it was in Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 9. And let's go to verse 11. It reads, "As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water." All right. And we was in that pit. You know what I'm saying, of ignorance. All right. That pit of not knowing. You see what I'm saying? Verse 12, because water represents wisdom and truth. All right. Verse 12, turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. All right. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. We are the prisoners of hope, man. All right. We are the prisoners. That's what it is. That's what it is. Let me go to it. Slocky. Come on. Bear with me. All right, so this is Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. It reads, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. All right. So this is what we focus on, man. And this is what we, the men of the Lord, beginning with our apostles, bishops, and elders, we always harp on hope. When you see these other camps, you know what I'm saying, they don't emphasize the necessity of maintaining hope. You see what I'm saying? Because contrary to the way that this world thinks, the Lord, all right, the Lord looks for those who have hope in him. You know what I'm saying? Elder Yashawamba just tapped into the story of the three children, all right? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which was Azariah, Ananias, and Sapphira. You know what I'm saying? And the faith that they had. All right? We're going to have to stand on that same faith. All right? And it's through the comfort of the scriptures that we have this hope. All right? So after that scenario, after that whole situation that I had with my coworker in the dream, I ended up in a room where I perceived that that all the employees, all right, including myself, we were getting ready to check out and go home. You know what I'm saying? We was going to clock out and go home, man. All right. But as I was heading to clock out, I looked at a crate. All right. I looked at a crate to the right, which had this big green rectangular type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It was full of them. All right. Inside this crate. And it was big. Like I said, it was big. It was green. It was rectangular. All right. And on the top right hand corner of the of this thing, you know what I'm saying, it was the letter CS. All right. It was the letter CS. And it looked military grade. You know what I'm saying? It looked like it was from the military. But my spirit showed me C4 as I was looking at it. You know what I'm saying? C4. And if you know C4, that's an explosive. Right? And I knew immediately that I didn't want to go that way. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go that way to go and clock out, man. So I exited the building and I left the building without clocking out, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know, looking back at it now, all right, that rectangular thing, it looked like a Claymore explosive. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what a Claymore explosive is, just look it up. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about this, what I was looking at in a crate, it didn't look it wasn't curved. You know how a Claymore looks, it's always curved. Well, this thing didn't look curved. You know what I'm saying? It was just straight up flat. So, but I could still tell through the spirit that it was some sort of explosive, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I left. You know what I'm saying? I left and I didn't go back to clock out or nothing like that. I just left the building. All right. You know, you just got to lean on discernment like that. So then I woke up out of the dream, and like I said, just a couple minutes ago, I woke up. But before I fully got to, got to get any thoughts out, I started praying, you know. So I prayed. I was thanking the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, thanking him for another day closer to salvation, you know what I'm saying? And for knowing this truth, man. All right. But then I started praying to the Lord for protection and that I may be counted worthy to be amongst the elect. All right. And of course, I myself and along with, many brethren, we're shooting for the top, man. We're shooting to be counted among the 144,000. You know what I'm saying? But if not, I hope to be part of the 1/3, regardless of where my name's, where my name stands. All right. Remember the scriptures say, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the Lord's house than let me see if I can get that precept real quick. I believe that's how it is. No, that's not how it's written. Let me see. All right, so this is Psalms chapter 84. Psalms chapter 84 and verse 10. All right, Psalms 84 and 10 reads, come on now. Calm down. Internet's acting stupid. All right, so this is Psalms 84 and 10. It says, for a day in thy courts is better than 1,000. I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my power than to dwell in the tents of wickedness, man. All right, so being in the house, being in the kingdom of heaven, you know what I'm saying, for one day, all right, for one day is better than 1,000 of your best days, man. You see what I'm saying? 1,000 of your best days that you live in this life, man, it can't compare to just one day in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I'm aiming for the top, man. Along with my fellow laborers, you know what I'm saying? Beginning with my apostles, bishops, and elders. All right. But even with that, I'm cool just being of the elect, man. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. Right? So back to the dream. Like I said, and if you think about it, when you're in the kingdom, all right, you have wonderful stories to tell, man. Stories to tell to your children, to your children's children, all right, about how the Lord saved you from the destruction, from the calamity. That's what I want. That's what I want, man. All right. And but yeah, while I was lying down, after I said my prayer, the Lord had, he put me in a trance, and I saw a grenade launched straight at me immediately. Right? The Lord put me in this trance, and as this grenade was launching towards me, you know what I'm saying, I was looking around. Right? It was like everything was slowed down. I was looking at what looked like what seemed to be a war zone inside of a city. All right? I'm talking buildings were on fire, smoke was filling the air, and it partially covered up the sun. You know what I'm saying? the grenade coming towards me, it was moving so slowly that I was able to evade it. You know what I'm saying? I was able to move past it. That's why I got the image on the screen, man. You know, when you look at Neo was dodging all those bullets. All right. But that's pretty much how it was when I was looking at this grenade. All right. Now I just dodged the grenade. All right. But then it hit somebody else who was behind me. And that shit blew my mind. I was like, yo, somebody was behind me while this grenade was coming at me. All right. So it seemed that I was about to be ambushed. All right. But in the midst of the grenade explosion, after the grenade had gone off, all right, time was still moving slowly for me, and I was able to escape without being noticed while everybody was focused on the explosion. All right. And that was just crazy, man. And keep in mind, my eyes were still open the whole time while I was seeing this vision. And then that war zone, that war zone that I was looking at under the dark blackened sky in the city, it became a familiar ceiling with the sun still beaming on my face, man. All right. And as I noticed that I was back in my room and I wasn't in a trance anymore, then the Spirit said to me, miraculous things like this will happen. Expect miraculous things like this to happen, man. And then my eyes widened up. You know what I'm saying? And I quickly got up. I was thanking the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, the water, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. And then I prepared to do this lesson. You know what I'm saying? And I know that was pretty drawn out, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I thought that was very it was surreal. It was surreal. It was like I was there, But let me get a couple precepts and then I'll just close it out. All right. Sometimes I feel like I talk too much. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 54. All right, Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17. It reads, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. Thou shalt condemn. This is my heritage of the servants of the Lord. Salaki. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord, man. All right. This is what the Lord promised us. The Lord promised that he was going to protect us. He promised that he was going to keep us, man. Right? That's also in Isaiah the 41st chapter. So it's Isaiah chapter 41, verse 13. It reads, for I, the Lord Yahweh thy power, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Yashar'Allah of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shalt make the hills of chaff. All right? The Lord's going to turn us into what's the word? Basically Marvel characters. You know what I'm saying? Basically Marvel characters. All right? And that may seem far-fetched to most. All right? But the elect are going to believe that. The elect are going to believe it. They're going to understand that, okay, and trust on that. Right? This is Isaiah, staying in Isaiah chapter 59. Let's go to verse 19. All right? Isaiah 59 and 19 reads, so shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. The Spirit of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to lift up a standard against him, man. All right, that's when the Lord's men receive spiritual power. Spiritual power, man. All right. You see what I'm saying? When I got out that, when I was taken out of the trance, out of that vision, the Spirit told me miraculous things like this will happen, man. You know what I'm saying? I was moving so fast, it was like time had slowed down. All right? Time had slowed down for them. For me. All right? And it was so surreal, like I said, it's kind of hard to put into words. All right? But time literally slowed down, and I was able to get up out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? And in the midst of the explosion, after hitting that dude that was behind me, who was about to get me from behind, all right, I was able to get up out of there while everybody was focused on the explosion, man. You know? And you gotta believe in these things, man. You gotta believe in the Lord's power, man. All right? As a matter of fact, let me go back to Isaiah chapter 40. Isaiah chapter 40. Let me get this. Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 28. It reads, "Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting power, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall fail and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." All right, you got to believe that, man. You got to believe, all right, that men are going to be flying. That men are going to be flying. You got to believe that. You see what I'm saying? Contrary to what the world tells you, don't lean on hope, because hope is going to lead you down the path of disappointments. Nah, man, not if you lean in hope on the Lord. Not if you trusting and leaning in hope on the Lord, man. All right, look at the generations of old. Let me get that. Let's go to Sirach. This is Sirach chapter 2, verse 10. Verse 10, it says, "Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?" You see what I'm saying? There's some of us that's going to have to be martyrs in this thing, man. All right? But don't let that discourage you. You see what I'm saying? Because the Lord is a just power. He's just. If you have to die for his name's sake, guess what? You're going to be the first. You're going to be blessed with being the first on that chariot. You're going to be the first one to taste of those new bodies. You're going to be the first ones. You see, the Lord is about balance, man. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. All right, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3. Let me start at verse 4. It reads, "For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for those immortal bodies, man. We're hoping for that spiritual power where we can do those great things like what Neo did in the movie The Matrix. You see what I'm saying? Moving faster than a bullet. Being able to fly. Super strength, man. All right? The world won't believe things like that. The world won't believe on that. Only the elect can believe on something like that. Verse 5. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. Greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine. They shall shine. All right? When I look at that, I think about the Z Warriors, you know what I'm saying? Especially the Super Saiyans. That's what I think about when I see that. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. All right? I literally was moving like a spark among the stubble, man. I was moving so fast that it seemed like time had slowed down. All right? So I was moving like a spark. Okay? And run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They shall judge the nations. All right? They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people. And their Lord, Yahushua, shall reign forever. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth. And what's the truth, man? The truth is that the world is going to be unlocked for the Israelites, beginning with the 144,000 and the remnant. The world is going to be unlocked. The secrets of this world and this life, you know what I'm saying? This dimension is going to be unlocked to the Israelites, man. They say you only use 10% of your brains, man. The Israelites is going to have full control. Full control. You see what I'm saying? They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. All right, faithful in love. What is that love? What is love? Love is the keeping of the Lord's laws. You see what I'm saying? And what's one of those laws that he told us to keep? You see what I'm saying? Don't take this charagma. Don't take this mark written of in Revelation 13 and 16. Don't take it. Don't take it. Stand firm. You see what I'm saying? Stand on faith. Because those who are not leaning on hope in the Lord, they're going to fail. They're going to fail. You see what I'm saying? Hope that is seen is not hope, man. All right? And such as be faithful in love and shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. This is what we're out here for, man. We're not out here for the whole of Israel, man. We're out here for the elect. That small remnant. And we pray we be counted among it. So yeah, man, this lesson went longer than I expected. But that was my dream. It was basically a dream and then a vision. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had one of those in a long time. So Thawada Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai for blessing me with that. You know what I'm saying? Not just a dream, but also a vision in the same span of time. You know, back to back. So Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai. All right, Shalom Akim. I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. This has been your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. All right, take care.